Hello everyone, Counselor here. We appear to have missed the first week or so of the first few days of supplying, but this is my teammate Randiv facing off against Geo. Let's see how he does. Geo's saying hello. Uh, so this we appear to have only missed the first the first 4 days. No, 5 days, or we came in during week day 5. Apparently, there's been a scouts behind the veil, evil and 2 evil apprentices, and he got to snipe with clobbers behind the veil. Okay, mystic research. An enraged on a wild horse. Nice. Good mystic research, that. So, now... next on is newspaper dawn, as most who watch this will already know. So Drac placed the room token on the first thing. So that he's claiming that is a vampire. Did my teammate Randiv get a newspaper to show him where to go? Let's, as soon as Dracula makes his move, we shall find out. Oh, there's the newspaper. So we got did find his early newspaper. Hide at Cologne. Alright, so he can get there in 2 days so long as the horses cooperate. Or, actually, an alternative to that is Cologne is actually nicely on the railway. A chartered carriage would get them there in 1 day. Let's see. By roads, a sense of emergency wouldn't do it because there's no way to get there within 3 roads. You can get right next to it, but you can't get to it. But if apparently Cologne Lamian and Sura don't have all that many events, in truth. What's this mean it's showing? A stake and a surprising return. And, yeah, no, and I have not yet been... Ooh. Going down there. I hope he intends to send Seward up there. But if he's going to go by rail, then the way to go up, charter carriage. What do you know? He had it all right. Yeah, so he's sending Goldaming simply to begin the interception, or at least an attempt to do so. So what's under the hide card? Saboteur. Is he holding dogs, perhaps? A knife discard? Wonder what? I suppose that they must have some really good stuff. Possibly they already have a CG and need to hold on to Heavenly Host. I don't know. Okay. I suspect that Seward had a forewarned there. Yeah. Fortunately, that's only a delay. That only delays him a little bit. That would say the vampire if it was already on the last slot. On the assumption that no one else could get there, as 1, 2, 3. Well, then again, I suppose that he would have had to play a renewed vigor to make anyone else able to get there in one day. What does Van Helsing do? Because I would have him continue supplying, because when Dracula starts in northern Germany, it's quite possible that he may end up being on the northern coasts up here, ready to jump into the UK the moment Van Helsing leaves. And therefore it can be risky to have Van Helsing leave it too soon. But staying too long, on the other hand, is also very dangerous. So is from Cologne made a move, then did a wolf form, and has moved once since then. And this was all they were standing in Vienna. In theory, that wolf form could be to Munich, so he could be at Zagreb. That could be, like, the actual move could be to Strasbourg, then wolf run to Munich, and go down to Zagreb. Which, it's good that he's bringing, if that's the case, it's good that he's bringing Van Helsing off. Local rumors. Oh! Well. Well, nice supply from local rumors, which that was a safe night supply thanks to Mystic Research, revealing where he is now. Goku Bleach, don't recall who that is. Interesting. So, what did he do to get down there? I suppose Frankfurt, then Wolfhorn to Zurich, mayhaps? It will be difficult to trace the exact trail, but yeah, that wolf one could be to all sorts of places. Marseille, Zurich, Munich. It's difficult to say exactly what he's done. However, that will likely be something of a minor matter. Well, perhaps not. Oh, I I missed this detail before. He got Sister Agla in week 1, so that will definitely help them if they if they actually manage to chase down Dracula. They they have a good combat advantage. So that's definitely good for the hunters. So this rumor token vampire will need Seward not not have a stake in order to uh, have a chance of maturing. I'm And then even if he doesn't have a stake, if Seward doesn't have a stake, then he's likely to have a larger arsenal. So who knows what he may be holding? Uh, there's that we can't narrow it down. There's at least one of everything left. Anyway, you can follow trains of logic to tell us that she most likely has a knife, a heavenly host, blah blah blah. But basically all the best stuff. But that's not always the case, so you can't say for sure. Okay. What would I do as glowing? I really, it would all depend on like what am I currently holding? Does he have his Does he even have a horse? Uh, how much do you guess that he didn't just go to Munich? I personally would. Okay, so he's going to be. He's basically just going to follow stalk Dracula right behind him by clearing the trail as in. Okay. No stake, so Suri gets delayed again. But that's the Rumatoga Vamp gone. So to end up at Milan, I would guess that the next location would be Frankfurt or Brussels. It can't be, as I originally suspected might be possible, going to Amsterdam. Simply, and then wolf forming out. But so in order to get to Milan, Cologne, move once, wolf form, and then I would send Vina to Marseille. That would that could that is a that could tell you a decent amount, depending on. I mean, that could be the wolf form location, and if it is, that will reveal that it was Strasbourg. Okay, she has a horse. I'm going to guess that he's going to send him to join Godalming because seeing as she started alone in Spain, she could be carrying more than one horse. And therefore, that's alright. So the wolf one location was Zurich. So that means from Cologne, Frankfurt, Brussels, even Leipzig are possibilities. Strasbourg, Frankfurt. I mean, Strasbourg, that would be a fake wolf form. So and that seems a bit kind of silly at this stage of the game. So I'll rule that out for now. Although one can never officially do so. 100%. An aristocratic vampire. Alright, well. So far, Dracula's trail has been while it's plenty delaying, it's not really all that harmful, and that's good news for the hunters. As Drac, you would want to things that ideally delayed them like you. I probably would have, if I could. I mean, we don't know Dracula's hand. I would have put down a fighter vamp at that particular spot if you wanted to put down a vampire. So Mia can now clear whatever's in Zurich. It's always that one is not a vampire, or if it is, it's the third aristocratic. Yeah, which means, well, that could be a lot of different things. Van Helsing's giving Lord Godalming a couple of an event or two. It would appear. What? Yeah. So what have we got here, Zurich? Once he clears that out, they simply have to find where he wolf formed from Cologne, to full clear all Dracula's previous trail, and then they can just gun it and go chasing after him. Which at this stage of the game is not good for Dracula. Mob. Okay. That's the first damaging encounter we've seen. I'm not sure exactly why Dracula felt the need to wolf form, but Hmm. Hmm. Let's see. So from Milan, it's most likely that he went to Munich. I mean, he could have gone to Venice, and now he's gonna ferry the Adriatic Sea. Well, unless he went to Munich and then semi backtracked to Venice, it would appear that that's not the case. Sorry if you're hearing some background noise. It my one a relative has come to visit, and my little siblings are enjoying themselves immensely out there. Let's see. Let me see. If Van Helsing has a chartered carriage. Okay. Yeah, perfectly respectable move. Get nearby. So, yeah, the question is where did he go? It looks as if Randiv may be choosing to ignore that spot. On the assumption that, mm, uh, on the assumption that it is nothing all that threatening, which is a dangerous thing to do. But it's but it definitely is something to think think about. What could that encounter be? Hmm. I wonder. Hmm. Okay. Hopefully with that slight OBS setting, just incur or I may have shut off some of the background noise. Sorry about that once more. Hmm. Is that? I mean, for all I know, that could be a hoax. And with Enraged being face up from Mystic Research, that that's a pretty decent event, Dracula event. So we know there's something at least reasonable in there, despite the fact that there are only 7 Dracomans in there, which is actually less than average for having gone through approximately a third of the encounter deck. I suppose that's mm, it's about average, I suppose. Okay, using some mystic research supplies. So why did he send Mina up to Seward? Was to do some sort of trade? Okay. Well, in truth, it was impossible for him to be in Galley at that point. I suppose that's just simply a fancy way of saying I pass. But it's possible Randiv didn't notice that because he definitely would have been better off doing a rest or a ticket than simply passing. So whatever that is, it may well end up maturing. I mean, yeah, for Zurich, I mean, we have to keep in mind that from Zurich, even from Leipzig, you can get to Zurich with one wolf form. Uh, First Nuremberg and then Zurich. It's yeah, I don't know about this particular situation. Ocean. Okay, so that means that he did go Milan, Munich, Venice. I think that that was quite possibly a mistake on Dracula's part end because I might have done a hide first, keep them guessing. Uh, Risky. I know that would be risky to be sure, but um, but now Randiv can start having his hunters just gun it to the gun it at least one or two hunters can gun it into the east to intercept him because let's see, two moves from here. The only way it could be anything other than I suppose it could be the Tyrrhenian Sea. The first order of business is to check which ocean it is. So, because if it's the Tyrrhenian, it's an entirely different story as to what you do. Okay, so he went to Venice first, and then went to Genoa, as Genoa is the only other harbor. So, is he going to look into the Wolfhorn, though? The pre-Wolfhorn spot? I mean, in the event that it is Leipzig, he may well already be too late. If we know that Mina has a horse, but will she roll slow? Is there a white one in there? Oh, Seward has a horse too. I'm not sure if we knew that already, but uh, Okay. So nicely done, Randiv. So now he can. So now Mina, while Seward deals with that, Mina, Van Helsing Gul'daman can start forming something of a coast guard. We know that he's gone onto the Trinian Sea. But from there, like, for example, do the hunters of Money Trail? If so, I mean, obviously they don't use it yet, as I know, or at least should know, as Randiv at least should know, what sea that is after having checked Venice. Okay, just gonna supply a bit. Possibly searching for a money trail. So Gul'daman and Seward will clear their respective locations, at least hopefully. Another mob. Not all that surprising, to be honest. And there probably isn't anything too dramatic waiting here. At Leipzig. I mean, since there was no ambush, we can assume that there's no vampire. Yeah, nothing. The fact that, I mean, honestly, he would likely not even show his pistol, except for the fact that he already showed it for the saboteur. So whatever, Dracula already knows of it. Might as well get rid of it before it becomes a bit of even more of a nuisance. But say if he had left that alone, so that would have been perfectly fine to just leave alone. It would have made the lair a bit more dangerous, sure, but there's really nothing to be afraid of when it comes to when. But there's really nothing. But since there's no mature effect, that would have just automatically gotten layered without a second thought. Okay, Van Helsing Gul'daman doing an event trade. So, yeah, a little bit of damage, but whatever. So now the only location left on the trail that isn't cleared is Genoa. And the hunters know that. And Randiv knows that. It's... When do you use Money Trail if you have it? If you do have Money Trail, when do you use it? I would say use it after this next scene. After this next sea movement, because it is highly important to know whether he's gone to the Ionian Sea versus the Mediterranean. That way you can get ahead of him a little. Yeah, when it's just such an because, I mean, if it's Ionian, obviously they go to the east. If it's Mediterranean, obviously they go to the west. So it's highly important to know which one it is. Preferably sooner rather than later. There. The fact that there is a knife discard seems to say that either Gul'daman or Seward, one of the two, is geared up with a lot of good stuff. From what I've seen, I'm guessing it's Seward that is in that sort of position due to the fact that he has a horse. He also has a firearm. I would guess that he also has a knife and a. Basically, I'm guessing that was simply an awkward Gul'daming discard sort of thing. Chose to land. Okay, so he went to Cagliari, it would appear. And that will tell them that's actually very good for the hunters. I think that Drac kind of basically the good news is that even if that's not Cagliari, it rules out the possibility of him. It basically makes the hunters have to wait, and if he goes, and if it ends up being a Cagliari, then that makes them not have to make them know whether it's going to be a Mediterranean Sea or Ionian Sea next. Okay, so ambushed by a new vampire Janelle. Okay. Typical daytime ambush. The hunter takes 2 damage but escapes. So now we just need to get a stake over here to take, which we know that Mina's holding on to 1. Yeah, Mina and Seward's actions are obvious. They need to get down here. Yeah, if that is indeed Cagliari, and keep in mind that we cannot rule out Rome and Naples, but if that's what it appears to be, the most obvious thing being Cag, Dracula may well have somewhat cornered himself because it kind of gave him away to the hunters. I mean, if Genoa and Venice were still flipped and they hadn't discovered which one he had left from yet, yeah, sure, make them assume that you ferried the Adriatic for as long as possible. But in this situation, that kind of helps them, because now they know that the Tyrrhenian Sea is already on the table, and that you have to go to the Mediterranean when you leave Cag. Is Gul'daming holding a stake? I mean, so far there aren't any in the discard, even though we do have 11 cards left in the draw pile. Yep, people resting up. So Van Helsing, yeah, should ticket. Try to get hold of those. Just basically perfect the horse economy. One thing that we do know is that, one thing in Dracula's favor is that he's getting wolf form back. And wolf form from Mediterranean, if that ends up being the case, uh, is not exactly easy to deal with. So how should the hunters take it from here? I'm not sure exactly. Depends on what Dracula does. Does he play a high card? Does he? He. Mm, uh, does he go right back out to sea? I. I personally, if I were in Geo's shoes, would not have gone to CAG in the first place. If he has indeed done so. So I would send Gul'dan to check this area in Italy, make sure either that or possibly just supply. Try to find and if you find the scouts or any sort of thing there, anything related to things there, he can search which whether he landed down here, because this is basically he claims to have just hidden at CAG. That's the obvious thing. But that could also be Rome or Naples to Bari, so that he can now ferry the Adriatic. And so that the hunters end up wasting time uh chasing ghosts on CAG, then his real trail is building. And mind you, it's costing him health. He's already lost 3, and one way or the other, he's almost certainly going to lose more. CAG, Naples, Ag Hyde, Naples, Bari. I think that he is in something of a pickle. CG is also a massive threat, and with the hunters having gone through 30 of the event deck, CG is become basically, of course, the further into the event deck they dive, the more likely it is that they have CG. And the fact that there hasn't been any host discards and there was a knife discard does reinforce the possibility that he found it early. Yeah, he's sending Mia to help. Wait, no? Not gonna send her with her stake to help out with Genoa? I find that curious. Then again, Gul'dan may have picked up a stake himself. No? The new vampire is still there. But then again, is giving Drac 3 points all that big a deal? It's actually an interesting question. I don't know. This is looking interesting for this match. Hmm. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that he didn't send Mina to Genoa to stake the vampire that's there. So, if Dracula didn't go to CAG, then he will either feed or go back to see now. And honestly, I think it's the same story if he went to Bari. In all honesty. Okay, doing some layer cycling. Hmm. Feed. Alright. So. I'm going to continue the supplying, or honestly, I would, or at least I might, depending on what people have in hand. I don't know. Not being able to see the specifics of like what hunters have and such definitely. Oh, Lemming found a stake. Snuff's in. Spectate. What I remember later this evening at 9 p.m. Snuff is going to be playing his game versus one mo. Let me check. He's going to be up against Spencer Wolfhard. He'll be facing off against Spencer Wolfhart. Yes. I had originally promised that this would be a live stream, but I ended up dozing off, and I do apologize for that. Sorry. So what does Mina do here? I would have made a supply because at this point, I'm not sure that carrying a stake around is the best of ideas with Mina, especially when she has a horse as well. Uh, hmm. Okay. Huh. Seward and Mina trading. Makes sense. If you're gonna keep that stake around, give it to the person who has the most inventory space. Yes. It would appear that Mina gave Seward the stake. So at this point, Drac is almost certainly going to go back to sea. But the problem is that the hunters won't know for certain whether it's the Mediterranean or the Adriatic. Yep, there he goes back out to sea. So the question is that Mediterranean or is that Adriatic? So okay, I might have just sent Gul'daming down into southern Italy to search that way at this point, because you need to know soon, because the second fog is still unaccounted for, and therefore, if you put a fog down on, like if it's a fog at CAG, it's gonna be, excellent weather, I see. So this will tell us once and for all whether it was CAG or not. It was not Cagliari. So therefore it was a Rome or Naples to Bari situation. So that means that they need to get going east. Okay. So I know that these are two separate locations, so the risk of a fog is definitely less now. One important fact is that Venice is now off the trail, so he could wolf form up and but even if it wasn't a lair, he can wolf form up. He could wolf form up here. Uh, okay. Where will he send Mina? Will he send her to cut him off, or will he send? Okay, so he's sending her to clear the trail. Uh, so this is Dracula has definitely won this exchange, so to speak, like this week's worth of play. The first week, the hunters cleared his stuff with little to no difficulty, but now things are that the hunters burned in excellent weather for practically for nothing. Uh, and it so so and because of that fact, the hunters lost a perfectly good event that, like, if that had been used at Venice ferrying the Adriatic, uh, could have helped a fair bit more. I mean, it made them able to cut off the possibility of CAG sooner, but than if it had been two separate actions. But again, it cost them an event, which definitely can be a bit devastating. So, since we're talking Adriatic Sea, he will most likely just wolf form out of the Adriatic Sea immediately, off into the east. He could also go to Munich, but that'd be rather risky. Hmm. It's definitely more While it is definitely more risky to go here, to Wolfram over Venice to Munich, uh, I can definitely see some merits to it, as Mina is down here clearing your southern Italy stuff, and Seward is on CAG. So really, at most, realistically, it's only going to be these two. I mean, but then again, with Aggie, even a 2-on-1 can be rather devastating to track. Uh, hmm. Yeah, so, hopefully, Randiv sends him to check Munich immediately, because, yeah. Okay, so he didn't try for that. Milan is still there. Genoa is still there. That could be Wolfhorn to Florence, but that'd be exceedingly risky. Uh, uh, I seriously doubt he would have done that, so yeah. It makes sense, because it makes sense not to go to Munich, because due to your lair situation, basically surrounding this, just swarmed in this area. Uh, oh, chartered carriage. Okay, that'll take him all the way to Vienna. Nice. I might have waited one day to do that. Uh, Simply go on foot. Then again, I suppose with Genoa being a lair, that could be a saboteur, something like that, or possibly bodyguards. I don't know. I suppose it makes sense to just hop over all that stuff. Oh, he's instead going to help Mina. I can't say I like that. Uh, then again, if he has Seward not do so, and go on to the Ionian, and skip over Italy, then I suppose that you might be able to pincer Drac that way. Reckless Vampire. Okay. Yeah, I would have sent Van Helsing to Vienna, because Seward could land in southern Italy to help with deal with the trail. Uh, so first Reckless Vamp, we've seen. So this could be Dracula's first point, and yep, he gets a point. But on the other hand, Mia does get to just swing out of there and not give him anything. taking more. But even 1 point makes quite a bit of a difference. Uh, as if this ends up going till week 4, it it will it usually takes 5 Fury Dracula days, Fury Dracula point days to make it. But with even 1 point, that makes the cut. That cuts it down to 4. That cuts 1 day off of the hunter's schedule, possible schedule, you might say. So, wolf form from Adriatic, and only way it is uh, up here is if it's Florence. Uh, so what? There's really no point to saying much until we see how Randiv tackles the situation. Like, most importantly, what will Seward do, and how will Gul'daming approach? Because Dracula could, in theory, be at Zagreb right now. Well, or rather, more correction, he could be moving into Zagreb right now. Let's see what happens. Gul'daming chooses supply. I mean, I kind of like it until the others are ready to advance on the east. Going in by yourself is not the best ideas. Yeah, Mina gave Seward a stake, so it makes sense for Seward to come here. At least a certain amount of sense. But if you're going to do that, then why send Van Helsing here too? You committed 3 hunters to southern Italy to deal with 2 separate things. I for one don't like that particular detail. I think that was overcommitment on Randa's part. Okay, plotting. Escape. Okay. Seward gets through unscathed, and the Reckless doesn't get anything more. So that combat went nicely. I'm guessing that was something of a lousy hand for Dracula. Didn't have obviously didn't have a Fang to play. Okay. Yeah, Van Helsing choosing to go check out Bari. A new vampire. Interesting. Let's see, we have had one stake used. And there are only 3 items left in the pile. Van Helsing has not yet encountered any encounters. So I think it likely that Van Helsing was holding the stake. Plotting. Knife. Interesting. That makes it seem that he doesn't have a knife. It doesn't have a stake, and that with a move like that. Because if you have a stake, simply escape and then stake it. Oh, nice. Holy bullets? No. I suppose, yeah. Well, actually, there is still one left. So there could have... That actually could have been holy bullets. So Van Helsing is actually trying to fight. So he has a knife and a rifle. So just maximum anti-bat stuff. This is definitely very interesting. Strength, okay. Oh, escape. I think... Is Van Helsing's last item a Heavenly Host? And at this point, there are no Heavenly Hosts in the discard. So, unless there are those 3 cards right there, there may still be 1, 2, even all 3 of them right there. But most likely there's at least 2 in the hunter's hands. We don't know for sure, but it just doesn't make sense otherwise. Yeah, so Godalming should ticket, try to perfect the horse economy. I'm also intrigued by the fact that we've seen all 3 horses. Godalming just showed his. He probably found it while he was flying into Noah. Stake with Seward, yeah, to take out Naples. Does Van Helsing have a stake? The fact that he didn't send Mina to help do a 2-on-1 against the vampire, seems to say that yes, he does have a stake. Why did Mina not move at all? Very interesting. Interesting. And the thing is, Randiv hasn't discarded any stakes that weren't used on vampires. Hypnosis. Ah, that's what he's up to. So, honestly, that was pretty obvious due to where the layers were. with both Zurich, Genoa, and at the time Milan being lairs, uh, there is next to zero chance that he was in that area. But I suppose he simply. But then again, I have been said to be quick on the uptake when it comes to figuring out Dracula's location. So it's perhaps Randiv simply he had not pieced that together yet. So the fact that he's in Baltica, that means that he didn't go to Sarajevo and then to Zagreb. So that means that it should be relatively safe for Goldaming to advance to Vienna. Simply to get at least a little bit closer. Horse. Okay, slow horse is... In this case, that's not entirely a bad thing, because you hardly want Goldaming to stumble right into Dracula on his own. I'm sure they have Aggie, but with the others down here, and with them having already spent in excellent weather, that's not exactly... That's definitely less than ideal. So, how to go about this is the question. Okay, yeah. Because the current issue, as I see it, for the hunters, is that while they're doing a good job of keeping the trail under control, they're not really getting any closer to forcing an encounter with Dracula. The fact that Drax CAG versus Southern Italy bluff worked so well means that this is definitely not ideal. Okay. Mesmerize a knife from Seward. So both of them have... so all the knives are now accounted for. Seward has one, and Van Helsing has one. So, if the hunters now do double rifle, there aren't many ways for the vampire to survive. What? There are actually a couple. There are two different ways. Or actually, there are actually several ways. All of them would involve either mesmerizing strength Van Helsing, or Fang, one of them. But I seriously doubt that the vampire is going to succeed in doing this, in surviving this. Okay, strength. Stewart doesn't care about a bit of damage. Bring it on. And rifle pops him down. Yeah, that was wrong target. If he had strength Van Helsing with the Seward mesmerized, it would have lived through the round. But So slight boo boo there in play for Geo. But now that southern Italy neutralized, do they have a second excellent weather to get someone over the Adriatic Sea quickly? Because if not, the Hunters could definitely be in trouble. Because now that they're into week 3, this is going to be rather iffy. So, what have we got? Well, so at this point, we know that this location is in Baltica. So, he likely will form to Sofia. And then possibly went to Bucharest from there. He could have also wolf-formed to Salonika, since this is from Adriatic, and Ionian was not on the trail. That would have shielded him from a possible CG. And then he moved to Sofia, and that's when Hypnosis went off. And now he is in possibly Belgrade or Sarajevo. I don't know. There's really not a way to know all that much. Until this is just dealt with. Until they get more hunters over there, there's not much we can say. Yeah, for sure. Okay. Yeah, he does need to polish up his ticket economy. Moving to Sajed. Interesting. I would have gone to Sarajevo, personally. Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Have them ferry the Adriatic. That's the quick way to get over to the east. If Van Helsing has an excellent weather, that would be rather handy about now. What did Van Helsing do there? Did he pass? That's funny. Okay, so that was the third Holy Bolts discarded. So let's see how much we can narrow down on what's in their hands. We know that we know a lot of Van Helsing and Seward's hands, but we know that that between the 2 items in the deck and their hands, there's all the horses, all the heavenly hosts, 2 stakes, there's actually even a dog's. Although I personally would guess that that's one of the things in the in the draw pile. Uh, both holy circles are in the discard, so it can't be that. That was the last holy bowls that just got thrown away. So no, there. Both crucifixes are down. All 3 garlic wreaths. 2 garlics. So there's actually still a garlic floating around somewhere, as there's 3 garlic cards. Yeah, they've given Dracula too much time. If Van Helsing had been sent up here, up to Vienna, instead of down into southern Italy, then I think that things would be looking better. Yeah, because due to how long the hunters took to do all that, it's it could be that Dracula's now had time to build up so much trail. If the hunters have newspaper reports, that could actually be useful. Although evidently that is not. I'm pretty sure you would use it if you had it, because there are a lot of unknowns in this. When was he at Sophia? Okay, so that was the initial wolf form location. Bats. Yep, that is a good spot to place them, for sure. Huh. It would appear that Wyoming has a forewarned and is considering using it. Hmm. So he actually chose to use the forewarned. I suppose that makes a certain amount of sense, considering that at a while ago before the recording began, he did it behind the veil of a fog, so he already, in a sense, used forewarn number 1 on a fog. So therefore, it's bats is like the next best thing to forewarn most of the time, like in terms of delaying stuff. When it comes to delaying stuff, that's the best thing you can. Second only to fog. That's the next best thing you can forewarn. Ticketing with Van Helsing. Yeah, I'm not sure what exactly he's doing. During the daytime, ticketing. He really seems to be trying to refine his ticket economy, which that should have been done during the first week. Now he's simply wasting time, and time is something that the hunters don't exactly have all that much of right now, because we haven't seen all that. We've seen 3 out of the 5 fighter vamps, and there are still 3 vampires, seeing as there's still 1 aristocratic as well as the 2 fighter vamps unaccounted for. There's still lots. Chose to misdirect. Okay. That looks like it's Bucharest. Bucharest, Varna. Bucharest, Constanta, Varna, Hyde. Misdirecting Constantica to go back there. So, So if that is true, then that spot right there is Varna with a Hyde right after it. Yep, that supports my theory. So Seward, however, can now jump into Varna because if Randiv is paying attention, he'll know that due to the glue tickets, so he actually didn't have all the white ones. No wonder he's been doing some ticketing. So there goes a horse. Ow. I mean, it wouldn't be all that much trouble to recycle the deck if it weren't for time. There's only a few more days before he'll start scoring points off of Fury of Dracula. Yeah. That hurts. I would at least get Mina moving. She has a horse, so I think that Dracula, if he's done what I think he has, Constanta, Varna, Hyde, misdirect Constanta and go back to Constanta. Dracula is almost... But then again, with the loss of the horse, Seward can no longer... Camilla discarded a stake. That seems to say that she's holding the last one already. This is definitely... That's definitely a development that the hunters didn't need. That's very bad for the hunters, especially since we're talking about the east, where the horses are most useful. Now it'll be impossible for Seward to get involved in a fight if Dracula chooses to stay and feed. uh, in Constanta. Now he could actually wolf form to Klausenberg with in a relative safety. Yep, very true, Randiv. Yeah, that makes things look bad for the hunters. So now, with the loss of that horse, it actually wouldn't be all that unreasonable for Dracula to try a wolfhorn to Klausenberg. Next, to avoid sea travel. Because if he goes to Black Sea, then Ionian, and then Tyrrhenian, and so on, uh, it will be he'll be moving towards hunters that are, at least most likely, slightly better prepared. I wonder why Goldaming didn't search. They haven't seen any hoaxes yet. That could well be a hoax. Although, I wouldn't be surprised if that was just the hoaxes were cycled out of his hand through layering them, and then taking them, then discarding the layers. Yeah, all of a sudden this is looking much better for Geo with the loss of that horse. And with the draw pile is being only one card, it's possible that they could get it back, but it's definitely not. But it's definitely not certain. So taking into account that the loss of that horse, will he? Okay, he's feeding. That seems to say that he is sitting on the second fog in Constanta. We know that Dracula has at least had the chance to place the second fog. But we don't know for sure if he has. Why did he not search Bucharest? The hunters are definitely moving too slow to. I mean, a renewed vigor, and Seward, a renewed vigor plus speed telegraph could still be quite awesome. To be honest, 1, 2, 3, because in theory, with an excellent weather and then chartered carriage, Van Helsing could get all the way to Bucharest. I don't know. But they're gonna have to do something soon. I mean, fortunately, Dracula's influence is still very low. But aristocratic at Bucharest, okay. Seward has little choice but to go to Avarna, which it definitely could be dangerous. And the thing is, in this case, I kind of doubt. I mean, in this case, we know that Seward is holding a pistol and a knife. Because he showed those in the combat with the new vampire over there. Down in Bari. And he hasn't changed his hand since then. So, we know that he isn't holding a Heavenly Host. Unless I missed something. Yeah, regardless of what happens, yeah, that's really not the worst hide card. Card cycling is of course good for Dracula, but at least it's not a fog. Although in truth, a fog would actually not be all that bad here. There are 3 stakes in the discard. So, did I miss something? No, it seems that I didn't miss it. Because he does indeed not have one. I would move Van Helsing to Rome in the Hunter's position. Because the fact that he stayed at Constanta like this, I would move somewhere where Van Helsing is also drawing items in an attempt so that he can try to dig up the lost horse. Oh, he actually cleared out Barry's lair. The thing is that unless Drac is gonna wolf form over Goldaming, I mean, if he goes to Klausenberg, that's not all that risky. Even with a renewed vigor, since Seward lost his horse, he would need a sense of emergency. I don't... We don't know. It's difficult to say. Yep, going back out to sea. The only good news for the hunters is that he did that. I mean, after going to the Ionian Sea, every move after that is something that could have been Fury of Dracula points. The hunters aren't out of this yet. I'm gonna, yeah, okay. That was a mistake on Geo's part to make it an ambush. Because if he went there, it was obviously he was obviously going to search it, and that way it lasts a little longer. But okay, dogs. Oh, he just applied yesterday to pick up something. Okay, that. I will be honest that surprised me. Okay. A reckless vampire. If I were you, Randiv, I had heroic leap on Seward, I would use it. Just get it out of the way. Get it over with, so that you can focus on chasing Dracula. You don't have the time to spend with this. You don't have the time to be chasing this vampire overly much. I mean, it's a rumor tokened one, which means that it is important to kill it, to be sure. Fangs, pistol. So the important thing is that actually won't give him a point, because this is not, this isn't an ambush. This is a search, not an ambush. So therefore that means that that doesn't give Geo a point. Yeah, I probably would not have opened with Fangs, unless you're trying to play around Heavenly Host. Yeah, good. That's relatively good. But the thing is, he already didn't show a Heavenly Host for the Desecrated Soil, so so why would you? Yeah, honestly, I think that him starting with Fangs was just a mistake. Why is it? Let's see. Missed. Okay. So that's not good. And the thing is that the fog will delay Van Helsing long enough to stop prevent Gul'daming from helping with this. Seward and Seward alone can deal with this. So therefore, this isn't looking good. But if you let him have those 7 points, he only needs to make 2 moves on land once we reach the right... And that wouldn't be all that hard, given that we don't seem to have anything over here. I mean, we have 1 horse, but we've already used at least... I think we've used 2 char carriages, so there's still only 1 left. There's still sense of emergency. Hmm. Due to how much damage Seward took, I'm tempted to say that uh, he should just let the 7 points happen. But that would give him far less time. That would cut off 2 days worth of actions. So therefore, it's worth having one hunter. As possibly is worth having one hunter just use possibly use at least one more day's actions to try to get rid of it. With being halfway through the event deck, and with having no Heavenly Host discarded, I think CG is likely. So therefore, Drac will definitely have to be on his toes about that. So obviously, he's not going to be. He's going to be going to the Ionian Sea. I mean, unless. Would he actually be better off wolf-forming back over here? Because Goldami is currently stuck in a fog. Seward is at 5 health due to and has a rumored vampire to worry about. Would it be the worst thing to wolf form ashore? That's actually an interesting question. But in any event, he chose to move on to the Ionian. So it seems like Gul'dan was either holding the last stake. Now, the question for Seward: do you simply battle again without supplying once, so to make it a daytime fight, or do you get one more item to try to make the combat easier? Okay, it turns out that he's going for the former of those, and I think I agree. Let's planned ambush. Now that is a good card to get, but since he has no heavenly host, all the vampire has to do is play his strength, and Seward can't harm it at all in the first round. I mean, it limits the options that the vampire has, to be sure. But if he has a strength, then Oh, he doesn't. Okay, so that means it'll be a punch. Uh, yeah, strength would have been slightly better. Not sure if Gio realizes this, but uh, or but it's entirely possible, of course, that he simply didn't have the strength. Which I hope if that is the case, uh, I def then if you're rooting for the hunters, you definitely hope that that stays the case. Because then all Seward has to do is play the knife, uh, and hope that he doesn't have a second mesmerize. Let's see. Claws. Yeah, that says that it was a bad hand for the vampire. Planned ambush just sealing the deal. Uh, so that's the vampire dealt with. However, he does have to give Dracula yet another batch of card shuffling, which makes it all the more likely that Dracula has found a third fog, possibly even a fourth fog at this point. Well, no. The fog number 4 got triggered far too recently for that. So, the Hunters have successfully kept him at 1 influence point, but we are now in week 4. But Dracula still needs to make 4 moves on land without the Hunters catching him. And it's still possible. And there's Sister Agatha in play. Let me see. He has 12 HP at present. CG is still a very real thing. The Hunters have successfully cleared the whole trail, so they have nothing to do but chase him. However, they lack a horse, unless Golddiamond got lucky and drew it up and just picked it up. So I would move Van Helsing to, well, or would I? Because it's possible that a wolf forms ashore now to start getting his points. But I for one would, as Drac, would go to Turanian, then go to Cag, so as to just get 3 relatively free points. And you already saw an excellent weather earlier, so there's only 1. So a 1v1, that's not that big of a deal. At least most of the time. Yeah, this could still go either way. Dracula will have to play careful, but the hunters are just split up into 2 pairs, and each pair only has 1 horse. So, a renewed vigor. There still could be 2 renewed vigors, 2 speed telegraphs. There could still be CG and all that, but it's yeah, but well, you just don't know. Wait, did Mia discard her horse? She was showing her horse. Did she trade it to Van Helsing? I think that's what's going on. She's searching for the 3rd horse, while Van Helsing will use what was previously her horse. So how soon does Dracula land? Okay. Oh, that one's still there. Whoops. I wonder what he put there. Was that simply an aristocratic? Okay, a rat's. That's no big deal. I mean, she's showing a rifle as her show card, so of course she'll show. That's the lyric cleaned out. So now, so what now? Both of them, especially if Goldaming found the horse, then it's entirely possible that they'll simply meet up at Sophia, and he'll give the Seward his new horse. Maybe. But okay, yeah, Seward resting makes sense. There's nothing on the trail to worry about except lairs, which there's one at Sophia too, so perhaps meeting at Sophia is not the best of ideas either. But one way or another, Drac is in a tight spot. Especially if the hunters have money trail. This is still anybody's game. And Dracula's gonna have to take some big gambles at some point or another. Okay, is that wolf form or move or sea move? Okay, so he went either Tyrrhenian or Adriatic. Which one? Knowing that Seward will likely be a little slow, I might consider going Adriatic and then going up Munich. But now is when if the hunters have it, this is where you drop the money trail. And if it's Adriatic, then you can force him to do a Dracula error and take a bunch of damage. Yep, money trail. If it's Adriatic, then and they have CG, it's not Adriatic, so it's inconsequential. But if it had been, they could have done CEG if they have it by night to block off all the ports, forcing him to make an error, which would make him take an excellent weather. So he's gonna have Seward pursue by sea. I see. No pun intended. So Seward actually won't be far behind, thanks to that. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, Van Helsing with Mina's horse. So, yeah, just go to Rome. So I think that now that both excellent weathers are out of the way, there's really not much harm in stopping at CAG to fetch a bit of your points. Ooh, you've left a bit of an opening for him now. Well, actually, then again, I suppose it makes sense because if he's almost certainly going to wolf form when he lands, when, apart from CAG, that is. Uh, so it. So therefore, it makes sense to cut off the option to wolf form over to Marseille. Uh, yeah. With how many days Drac is going to need on land to win, this makes me wonder: will we end up getting a week 5? that'd be that'd be quite something. Now, if Dracula moves another space by sea, which he might, then if the hunters have CG, they might want to CG at least these parts, just prevent him from going ashore. Basically, keeping at sea as basically keeping him at sea as long as possible. Will give Goldaming as much time as he can to horse back west. Uh, He chose to land. Okay, so that's obviously a CAG move. He, I don't think he would dare to. And he did remember to clear out his lair at Naples, so he's left the possibility hanging that, uh, since, yeah, I agree that it's relatively safe to just fetch one batch of your points now. Long night. uh. How many drag events have gone? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and number 14 is on top. So, not even half of them yet. Well, actually, slightly over half. Uh, yeah, this is... renewed vigor. So, I would say that this situation doesn't really call for a renewed vigor, but rather it calls for a speedy telegraph if you have it. That way you can move Van Helsing to Naples and Mina to Genoa just to rule those out. Because those are the only other options. apart from CAG. You have no excellent weathers, so you're not going to be able to get out there this today. So okay, move to Belgrade. A chartered carriage would be pretty good. That would get him all the way to Venice. Sense of emergency would also be decent. Okay. Yeah, so Gildame. Then again, since it's possible for him to have 2 renewed vigors, and he is already like rather close, uh, uh, hmm. So as Drac, do you hide? The thing is that if you hide, you can then feed. If you hide, you get an extra 3 points. You know there's no excellent weathers. Okay, yeah, ruling out Naples as a just in case. Not wanting to let that slip by. How many hired scouts have we had, if any? We've had 1, so there's still 3 more in the deck. So I would have Mina Supply. Okay, so confirmed he is at Cagliari. Since they know he's there, the fact... Oh, Vampire Lair. Ooh, that actually buys the hunters 1 extra day. So, Drac still needs 4 more land movements. Yeah, Renewed Vigor to be able to check that and use Vampire Lair, that's pretty good. So, that does not look good for Geo. Dracula still needs 4 more land movements. He could make one of them a hide at CAG. I would say I would do that. But I would not waste time on the feed, because then you're letting Seward, you're gonna get... I mean, even a hide, since fog is... fog is not impossible, but... Seward could have a forewarned. It's not impossible. That he has the second forewarned. I don't know. Yeah, what Mina now needs to supply because since she was holding the stake. Hmm, yeah, that vampire lair is big. That gives the hunters one extra day. Yeah. Since there's bound to be more sea travel, it really... I think this game may come down to, does Dracula hide here or not? If he does, I think that the hunters are in better shape than I think the hunters are slightly favored. If he doesn't and goes to sea now, then reason being for that is, if he hides, Suri can choose to just ignore Kag, knowing that I'm sure Dracula can feed there, but what's the point in feeding? You don't get points for feeding. There's no real point to doing it. Okay, yeah, but if he had hidden there, Seward would have been able to get out ahead of him. As it is, he will still have Seward on his heels. Then again, do the hunters send Seward to deal with what's at Cag? Because if he put down a fire vamp there, or just a vamp there, this game might will last long enough for that to matter. Sense of emergency? Okay. Yeah, that will get him as far as Zurich. I think we're gonna have a rather infamous wolf form from a Mediterranean situation, because I don't think Drac will want to... Because Drac needs to be making points. Does Seward move on? Yeah, so he appears to be ignoring Cag, at least for the time being. Okay, yeah. Just go as far as you can, which is Florence, in this case. Then Mina. If Dracula chooses to go to Genoa with a wolf form, or Milan, then he's much closer to you. So I would just block off Marseille. Then again, arguably it's better for her to do a supply. She might find Seward's discarded horse. She might find... she could also just find another weapon to help with the seemingly inevitable encounter. This is interesting. Yeah, at this rate, let me see. For Dracula to win, this is going to have to last until week 5. I think Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, I'm not sure. This isn't looking all that great for Drac. Uh, oh, Night Supply. I hope that was. I don't know about that. You're in a strong position. Don't go risk it's giving him an unearthly swiftness or things like that. Okay, a wolf forming shore from the Mediterranean. That's most likely into Spain. I would guess Madrid. Uh, so Sewer can be hot on his heels. Oh. Hidden schemes. And now that allows him to simply slip a vampire there. But let me see. Will it actually matter? That slides, he goes up to 8. That one slides off. He goes up to 11. That one slides off. So no. At this point that won't really matter. That will be sliding off at the same time. So I don't think that will really matter. However, I do hope that he's correct. He hasn't checked Geneva or Toulouse. I would have Mina not move today, and I would have Mina not move today, and get supplies so that she can scan by night to rule out Clermont-Ferrand. Because you don't want him slipping. And then there's the possibility. The problem is that two of the possible locations, Geneva and Genoa, and for that matter Milan, are in Italy. So if Drac played risky and didn't go to Spain, sense of emergency. Okay, yeah, scan Spain. I like that. Send her to Seward so that you can scan Spain. Okay. Well, that's another way to do it. New vampire. So this is very dangerous for both sides. Mina's only two combat items. Well, two items in general. She has a rifle, which Dracula knows she has a rifle, and she has one other thing. We don't know for sure what that is. I don't think it's a horse. But that's both sensor. So far as movement event goes, there's only one left. There's only one char carriage left. Both excellent weathers, both sense emergencies, and 2 of the 3 char carriages have been used. Fangs. Dodge. Okay. Choosing to... Let me see. If this were a reckless, would 1 point matter? 2 points would matter. Okay, so Mia takes a bit of damage, but she does have Aggie to help her against, and as of yet, we are yet to see any situations where there's any lethal threats. So therefore, it's possible that there is it's possible that there's Hieroglyph that could be here, although that would kill Mina, and that would give Rocket Drag up 5 influence. Not the best ideas, as that would mean that he just wins by moving. So to use Hieroglyph right now is a death sentence to the hunters. So Mia has a rifle. I don't know whether... I don't think that she has a horse, so it could be that she has a knife. She could have another gun. She could have a garlic, crucifix. I don't know. There's all sorts of things she could have. Since there's been a lot of supplying, and such, I think that she has a Heavenly Host. There's never been a Heavenly Host in combat. Okay, Mesmerize and Rifle. Yeah. The Hunters could also have great strength. Uh-oh. Sorry. Is my server disconnecting? Okay, we're gonna... Not sure why this is happening. Okay. We're going to try to quit and go back in. See what... Sorry, folks. Don't know what's going on here. Dear. I'm very sorry, folks, but looks as if I cannot catch the rest of it. I'll have to ask the players once they're finished. Unless, I'll try restarting the game. See if that may allow me to do it. But I think this will take a mo. Sorry. I hope that still saying fit. Huh. Unfortunately, I'm just gonna have to give up there. I don't... I don't know how to fix that. I'm going to have to post this recording to the... Okay. I don't know. I don't know what happened, so... Unfortunately, I simply won't know what the rest it is, but... seeing as Randiv is my teammate, I'm hoping that he wins. I'll ask him later, but we'll see. In any event, once again, sorry again, folks. Sorry I have to deal with this, especially with the late start. Late start due to me dozing off. But I'm afraid we're gonna have to call it there. Anyway, see you, folks. Bye.